Good day, and welcome back to Life and Timeless Art. Today, we're diving into a philosophical exploration of ambience in Kendrick Lamar's ADHD, Jcole's Lights Please, and Drake's Chicago Freestyle. These iconic tracks transcend their individual narratives, creating an immersive atmosphere that resonates deeply with listeners. Each song crafts a unique ambience, yet they all share themes of introspection, vulnerability, and existential reflection. Kendrick's ADHD captures the detachment and search for meaning in a distracted world. Jcole's Lights Please juxtaposes fleeting desires with a longing for enlightenment, while Drake's Chicago Freestyle contemplates the transient nature of time and relationships. Join us as we delve into how these tracks use minimalist production, raw lyricism, and emotional depth to create a shared sonic philosophy. Don't forget to subscribe and Crafting Solitude, the introspective tone. All three songs, ADHD by Kendrick Lamar, Lights Please by Jcole, and Chicago Freestyle by Drake, serve as masterful sonic meditations on solitude and introspection. Through their ambient production and lyrical depth, each track creates an immersive experience, drawing listeners into the inner worlds of their respective artists. Kendrick Lamar's ADHD. In ADHD, Kendrick employs minimalist beats layered with haunting synths to craft a soundscape that mirrors the emptiness and detachment of a generation lost amidst distractions. The track's production isn't overcrowded. Instead, it breathes, allowing the space between the beats to echo the internal voids Kendrick explores. His vocal delivery, measured, calm, yet heavy with suppressed emotion, creates an ambience that feels paradoxically intimate and distant. This duality reflects the song's central conflict, the yearning for meaning in a world overwhelmed by numbing habits and societal pressures. The haunting production and Kendrick's poignant delivery pull listeners into this existential crisis, offering them a moment to confront their own. Lights Please by Jcole. Lights Please by Jcole offers a subtler approach to solitude, using warm yet understated instrumentals to weave a narrative about love, escape, and deeper reflection. The song's production, marked by a mellow piano loop and soft percussion, creates a cozy yet introspective atmosphere. This instrumental warmth contrasts with the song's thematic weight, as Cole juxtaposes romantic intimacy with the stark reality of societal issues. The recurring refrain, "Turn off the lights," operates on multiple levels, a call to physical intimacy and a metaphorical plea for clarity and self-awareness. The song invites listeners to ponder their own dualities, pleasure and purpose, intimacy and isolation, through its ambient production and contemplative lyricism. Drake's Chicago Freestyle immerses listeners in late-night melancholy through its evocative production and reflective tone. The track's melancholic piano loop, coupled with moody bass lines and ethereal vocal samples, conjures a soundscape steeped in solitude. Drake's introspective delivery, tinged with vulnerability and resignation, fits seamlessly into this backdrop, amplifying the emotional weight of his reflections on fleeting connections and the inevitability of separation. The ambience mirrors the emotional transience Drake articulates, where moments of closeness are overshadowed by the inevitability of distance, both physical and emotional. In this way, the production and lyrics together become a meditation on the impermanence of relationships and the human desire to hold on to fleeting moments. Conclusion. Each of these tracks uses ambient production not merely as a backdrop, but as a storytelling device. The minimalist beats, haunting melodies, and subdued tones reinforce the themes of introspection, solitude, and human fragility. Whether it's Kendrick's generational disconnection, Jcole's dualities of intimacy and awareness, or Drake's exploration of transience, these songs resonate deeply by inviting listeners to inhabit their emotional landscapes. Through this shared solitude, the artists create spaces for us to reflect on our own inner worlds, proving that music is as much about what is unsaid as it is about what is heard. Philosophy in the atmosphere, shared existential themes. The shared existential themes of ADHD, Lights Please, and Chicago Freestyle reveal the philosophical depth embedded in these tracks. Though each song has a distinct narrative, their ambient production and introspective lyrics converge to create profound meditations on the human experience. These songs serve as more than entertainment. They are vehicles for exploring questions of meaning, self-awareness, and impermanence. Kendrick Lamar's ADHD, The Void of Modern Disconnection. In ADHD, Kendrick Lamar examines the existential emptiness stemming from materialism, distraction, and societal disconnection. The song reflects the plight of a generation grappling with overstimulation and the numbing effects of escapism. Through sparse beats and haunting synths, Kendrick constructs a sonic environment that feels hollow yet poignant, mimicking the internal voids he describes. His delivery is deliberate and monotone, amplifying the sense of emotional detachment. This restrained vocal approach doesn't demand attention but quietly pulls listeners into a shared space of contemplation. Kendrick's lyrics dissect the futility of chasing material rewards or substance-induced escapes, ultimately underscoring the human yearning for deeper purpose. The song's ambient atmosphere intensifies this introspection, as the minimalist production leaves space for listeners to project their own feelings of alienation and longing for meaning. Jcole's Lights please the push and pull of desire and enlightenment. Jcole takes a more intimate approach, exploring the personal duality between physical desire and the pursuit of higher understanding. Jcole portrays the struggle of being tethered to fleeting pleasures while longing for something more profound. His storytelling brings these dualities into sharp focus, as moments of romantic escape are juxtaposed with reflections on societal issues and self-awareness. The ambient production of the song complements this theme by embodying the tension it describes. The warm, subdued instrumental creates a mood that is both inviting and introspective, offering a safe space for listeners to confront their own conflicts. The recurring refrain, "Turn off the lights," is symbolic. It speaks to both physical intimacy and a metaphorical call to block out distractions, illuminating the moments of clarity that come with stillness and introspection. The track's ambience allows Cole's philosophical musings to resonate, bridging the gap between personal struggles and universal truths. Drake's Chicago Freestyle, the ephemerality of connection. Drake's Chicago Freestyle ventures into the inevitability of impermanence, focusing on the fragility of relationships, time, and human connections. The song's melancholic piano loop and distant vocal samples establish a reflective, late-night mood. This ambience mirrors the fleeting, transient moments that Drake lyrically recounts, reinforcing the emotional resonance of his reflections. Drake's introspective delivery, tinged with vulnerability, turns the track into a meditation on loss and longing. His musings on the ephemerality of relationships echo a broader existential truth, the impermanence of all things. The ambient soundscape heightens this theme, offering listeners a meditative space to engage with their own feelings of impermanence and the passage of time. The subdued instrumentation leaves room for the lyrics to breathe, ensuring the philosophical weight of the song remains central. Theme of vulnerability, impermanence, and emotional longing in Drake's Chicago Freestyle. Drake's Chicago Freestyle offers a poignant meditation on the transient nature of relationships and the fragility of human connection. Through his introspective lyrics, he peels back the layers of his public persona to reveal a man wrestling with loneliness and a yearning for stability. The song begins with a wistful reflection on fleeting romantic encounters. 2:30 baby, won't you meet me by the beam? Too early, maybe later you can show me things. This line captures the ephemerality of late-night moments shared with someone who might not remain in his life. The reference to the beam, an iconic sculpture in Chicago, evokes a sense of place that is both specific and universal, grounding the narrative in the physical world while underscoring its transience. The timing, 2:30, emphasizes the liminal space between night and morning, symbolizing the impermanence of these interactions. Beneath the surface charm of this invitation lies an emotional undercurrent, a longing for something more enduring amidst a backdrop of fleeting connections. Drake's vulnerability deepens as he reflects on his emotional state. Where do I begin? Hella lost in the wind. This admission reveals a man adrift, struggling to find clarity and purpose. The phrase "lost in the wind" suggests a sense of powerlessness, as though he is being carried by forces beyond his control. Despite his success and influence, Drake's lyrics portray an individual grappling with uncertainty and isolation. This contrast between outward confidence and inner turmoil is a hallmark of his artistry, and it resonates deeply with listeners who see reflections of their own struggles in his words. The song's production amplifies its themes of impermanence and emotional longing. The melancholic piano loop and muted vocal echoes create an atmosphere of introspection, immersing the listener in Drake's reflective state of mind. The sparse arrangement leaves room for his words to take center stage, allowing the weight of his vulnerability to resonate fully. What sets Chicago Freestyle apart is its exploration of the duality between longing and detachment. Drake's lyrics suggest that while he desires meaningful connections, he is also guarded, perhaps wary of the emotional cost of opening himself up completely. This internal conflict is universal, reflecting the human struggle to reconcile the need for intimacy with the fear of vulnerability. Ultimately, Chicago Freestyle is not just a song about fleeting relationships, it is a meditation on the fragility of human connection in a fast-paced, transient world. Drake's candid portrayal of his emotional landscape invites listeners to reflect on their own experiences with impermanence, longing, and the search for authenticity. The track becomes more than a piece of music. It is a mirror that reflects the shared vulnerability of modern life. The three tracks, Kendrick Lamar's ADHD, Jcole's L.A.T.A, Please, and Drake's Chicago Freestyle, are bound together by their exploration of vulnerability, introspection, and the complexities of human experience. Each song delves into deeply personal struggles, using minimalist production to amplify the rawness of their narratives. While Kendrick examines the emptiness of materialism and the existential crisis of a distracted generation, Jcole grapples with the tension between physical desire and a yearning for purpose. Meanwhile, Drake reflects on the impermanence of relationships and the fragility of emotional connection. Despite their unique perspectives, the shared themes of longing, internal conflict, and self-awareness create a powerful resonance between the tracks. At their core, these songs reveal the universality of vulnerability, presenting it not as a weakness but as an integral part of the human condition. The sparse soundscapes act as more than a backdrop. They provide a reflective space for listeners to confront their own struggles and emotions. Through their candid storytelling, Kendrick, Cole, and Drake invite audiences to connect with their inner worlds, bridging the gap between individual experiences and collective understanding. Together, these tracks form a cohesive meditation on the pursuit of meaning, the weight of introspection, and the beauty found in raw, unfiltered emotion. That wraps up our philosophical journey into the ambient layers of ADHD by Kendrick Lamar, L.A.T.A, Please by Jcole, and Chicago Freestyle by Drake. These tracks aren't just songs, they're introspections, conversations, and stories wrapped in ambient textures and poignant lyricism. Whether it's Kendrick's raw storytelling, Cole's reflective narratives, or Drake's atmospheric flow, these artists remind us how music can transcend sound and tap into the core of our human experience. If you enjoyed this exploration and want to dive deeper into the intersections of philosophy, music, and storytelling, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. Got a favorite track that gives you a similar vibe? Drop it in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts and suggestions for future videos. Thanks for watching, and until next time, keep listening, keep thinking, and keep exploring.